Hi once more and welcome. I get to continue with the series of that we started. When you check on the link below on our YouTube channel, which I would pray and ask and request that you subscribe and like, please, and leave a comment, a suggestion, a question, or an insight on these discussions that we place. And this is a continuation on the series of knowing that children also mourn. Yeah, and we are continuing on the discussion, um, and talking on when children mourn their parents. Okay, because a parent is the closest person uh, that that these children have had in their lives, and and the one they always know that will always be there no matter what. And so one morning, um, dad is not there or mommy is not there, and mommy is never coming back, and mommy is never coming back. So the questions that arise from bereavement are questions like, should the children be involved in the mourning period, funeral arrangement, funeral, the funeral mass, the funeral, uh, the weeks? Should they be involved? And if yes, at what age? And if no, why not? Okay. Several uh, um, children psychologists, like Dr. Freya, who's famous and is known, out of experience and of years of child psychology, encourages, and I would encourage as well, and I think it is the best thing to do. When we lie and tell these children that, for example, daddy went on a trip, on a business trip, and he will be coming back. So and this child waits for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and that is not coming back. So something happens to this girl, to this young girl, for example, if it's a girl. They grow up, and because there were 3 years when their dad died and they were not told the truth, they never attended the funeral service. They did not see the dead daddy's body. Nothing was told to them when they were young. Children always have fiction of things that are around them. Okay, so that's why you see sometimes adults, into adulthood, we grow up with the traumas that we got in childhood. And so this little girl remains at a certain age. If it was 3, 4, 5 years, she remains there even into adulthood, knowing that the first man that she loved with all of her heart and everything in her, ran away from her and did not come back. And because they may never question, because sometimes maybe it is because they ask you as a mom, and then you get emotional. So they grew up seeing you emotional whenever they ask about why dad is not coming back from the trip. And then they would go asking like, what did I do? Then they would go like, the other time I remember when I broke daddy's TV or phone, daddy said I was stressful and I was gonna take him to his grave, and that one day he'll go away. This girl grows up with fiction in her head that may take forever to heal. So what happens to the child who was not given an opportunity to mourn a parent? They either grow up and get clingy, over clingy, so that every man that they, if it's a girl, I'm giving an example of a girl, if it's a girl, they get a man, or men that they get involved with in a relationship, and they tend to cling and become over possessive of them, and always stressed because they want to be the best version of them, which they are not, even ending up faking who they are, because there is a fiction in their mind that because they might have behaved in a certain way, that's why their dad went and never came back. And because there is a fiction, and they grew up with it, so this man, whether it's a good one or a bad one, the man that comes to them and shows them some little bit of passion and some love, they will not choose, because it will be like, oh, this one has done me a favor to come to me, to accept me. And they will start to try and cling on that man, so that they do not end up leaving her the way daddy left and never came back. And so this become straighteners into this relationship, and this girl ends up with so many heartbreaks, for example. And if it's a boy, we tend to see, on the worst scenario, where you see this young men getting into a relationship with much older women in their lives, because they're always looking for a mother who went and did not come back, a mother who loved them and did not finish loving them. And so they enter into this relationship to look for love, not to give love. Because as they were growing up, they didn't have an opportunity to give love to their mother, who left them, did not die, left them because they were not told that their mother died. And so Dr. Freer encourages, and I encourage too, that a child from 3 years is talking, is eating, is walking, is playing. They can understand. Allow them to be present during the period of mourning. And tell the truth. Tell them the truth. Dad is gone. Mama died because she has been sick, and she couldn't continue being in that pain. And so she had to go. And where she has gone, she's not coming back. It is us who will go to her, because then you explain, you get the simplest words at her age and her understanding, in a way that you can explain death. And you be careful, because I hear many parents that choose to admit to their children that their spouses passed on. Then they say God, okay? Whether it's God, whether it's Allah, whether it's whoever it is, took him. So if you're a person of faith, of a certain faith, following a certain kind of faith, what you're doing, you are creating an enmity between this child with the same spiritual authority that you'd want them to later in the future grow up to be obedient to and to be loyal to. Because you think about it, how am I gonna be respectful and loving towards a person who took the person that I love the most, and they never returned them back? So you get, we see prayer requests and counseling. We receive people who have come for counseling because their children can just not obey whom they think they should obey, who is the spiritual authority that they have in their home. And why? it is because you have forgotten that you told them that that spiritual authority took their mom away, took their dad away. And so if you are to tell them of the death of their parent, of the other parent that has gone, let it be as plain as you can explain it to an adult, but in a language that is simple for them to understand. What happens, because this is a brain that is developing, and our brains are wired in a way that they record. And so as this child is growing up, it is recorded in the brain. And so with the time, they will remember. They come. When we reach 9 years, at the age of 9, 10, 11, we tend to be dreamers, and we tend to be reflectors of the past. It's psychological. And so with the time, this the tapes, I would call it that, in the brain, our brains is the CPU. It stores what it should be stored in it. And so because now this child has grown and is growing, the recorded data in the brain, the recorded whatever, it shall come. They shall be remembering. Everybody at school has a dad. What happened to my dad? Where did my dad die? Then it comes in, oh, dad died, and he's never coming back. And it is me who have to go to him. And so even in the weeks, in the funeral preparations, and even viewing of the corpses, please allow them. It gets stored here, and it helps them in the future, so that they stop living in a fiction and they stop hurting. I want to end there, so that I'm doing several videos on mourning, grieving. That is about death. Same to the death of a sibling, same to the death, because children get attached to, the nuclear family members mostly, and then even extended and friends. And so tell the truth. If a classmate died, tell them, your classmate, this is what happened and this is how it is. And if it is possible, if they were close, try so that they may see their corpses. Try so that they can be involved in that place where the people are talking about the death and what happened, and try and explain in a language that they can understand. See you in the next video. We continue with the series of how children grieve and what they grieve about. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please like. Please leave a comment and your suggestion, and we shall really appreciate. Ciao.